Hey everybody, my name is Sascha and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm filming my November TBR. I actually just filmed this, but I went to check the footage and there was no audio, so I'm refilming it now. The audio is working again, and I hope this lighting's good. It's actually like 11 p.m. because if you do not follow me on Instagram, I've been having some roommates issues, and they're very loud individuals. They're not very considerate individuals, so I haven't really had the chance to film. So I'm filming at nighttime, but I think I set the lighting up pretty well, and I might start filming a little bit in my car. But this month is my birthday month, so I'm really excited for it, and I also have Thanksgiving. I have a little bit of a break, but I'm super excited for Thanksgiving, like the food. I don't know, in the past couple years I've been really getting into Thanksgiving, but this month is going to be pretty academically heavy. It is my last full month of classes. Our classes end at the end of November, and then we have finals in December. So I have a lot of assignments due, a lot of tests due, basically wrapping up the whole semester. It is the most academically intense month of the whole semester. But I managed to read 20 books in October somehow, and October was hella busy. I had social things going on every single weekend. I had a ton of stuff going on. There was just a lot of RA stuff as well. It was crazy. October was insane, and this month I don't have as much going on, just mostly school. So I am hoping that I can still read a good bit. Not 20 books. 20 books was a lot. I'm hoping that I can read maybe 10 to 15. That would be super ideal. I know that Slaughterfest, hosted by Beth from Beth's All Booked, and she has two co-hosts, Ashley from Ashley's Little Library and Jordan from Sorry Booked Solid. They are hosting that readathon Slaughterfest from the 7th to the 13th, and I do want to participate because I want to support Beth and like everything that Beth does, because I love Beth so much. But I'm a little burnt out from the 3 readathons that I did in October, so I am going to take a step back a little bit, and I'm going to like lightly participate, maybe read a book for the readathon, and like that's it. But I'm not going to do like every single prompt, but I did want to still mention it, and that's really the only readathon that I know in November. As I said in my last TBR, Stacks of Strange is taking a little bit of a break, so we don't have any pick for this month. But for Swoon Sisters, I'm finishing up the pick for October because the live show for our October pick is November 6th. So I started the book in November. By the time this video goes up, the live show is either going to be the day that it goes up or like a couple of days ago. So you won't really have the chance to join us, but I am currently reading it. So that is on my TBR as well, and that is Black Sunshine by Karina, Halle. This is a vampire romance, and I know Jan loves this book so much, and a lot of people I know have loved this book, so I am super excited to get to it. Well, I'm already in the middle of it, but regardless, and we picked this book because obviously we wanted to celebrate the spooky season and do something paranormal. Well, we put a whole bunch of paranormal options in a poll, and this is the one that was chosen, and the one that was chosen for our November pick was Balance by Lucia Franco, and this book is like 550 pages or something, and I don't know if there's an audiobook. I think there might be, but I'm probably going to start this one in November, even though our live show is on the 4th of December, because that's like pretty close. I'm probably going to start it this month and finish it off in December, but I want to mention it regardless if it's on my TBR, so then that way people who read a little bit slower can join us, because this is like a thick romance, and it is a gymnast coach romance. It's a little taboo, and this is one that I added to the poll, and I should have done more research because I probably wouldn't have added it to the poll necessarily, but I've heard so much about this author and this series specifically. But I believe the main character, the woman, is underage, at least for part of this, and I believe that they do participate in romantic activity and everything when she is underage. I believe 17, so that may bother some readers for sure, because there's like a little bit of an age gap, and if you're wary of that, I would definitely just do your own research or try it out. But I've heard such good things about this series that I really wanted to check it out for myself, so I added it to the poll, and it's what won. So apparently people do have an interest in it. But those are the 2 books that I have for Swoon Sisters this month, and I do plan on doing a cozy mystery reading vlog that'll go up at the end of November or the beginning of December, and I'm going to be reading cozy mysteries. The ones that I have picked out right now are these 4, and some of these are not like very traditional cozy mysteries. I know that. I feel like cozy mysteries started to get popular last year, specifically with Finlay Donovan is killing it. Even though this is not like a super traditional cozy mystery, it opened people up to like what the genre could be. And then also obviously Kayla did her whole cozy mystery series this year, which really sparked a lot of people's interest in it. But I've been reading cozy mysteries for a year or two. I started originally with Julianne Lindsay, and I love her work, but she's super underrated. But I have these ones that I'm going to be reading. The most traditional cozy mystery on this list is Brownies and Broomsticks. I wanted to read this one for October because it is a little spooky. You know, it's about a witch and it's a cozy mystery, and she owns a little bakery. It says Easy Bake Coven. Love that. I didn't have the chance to get to it. I'm kind of in this weird place in November where I want to read spooky books that I didn't get to in October, but I also want to read like a little bit of like urban fantasy, some darker romance, cozy mysteries, and like thrillers and horror, and just like autumnal feeling books, and maybe like a little bit of like a lighter romance or like a holiday romance towards the end of the month to spark a little Christmas joy after Thanksgiving, of course. So I'm still gonna probably have some spooky books on this TBR. And then I have A Curious Beginning, which I know that Riley Marie loves this book. This is the first person that I heard it from, and this is like a historical cozy mystery, I believe. And then I have The Thursday Murder Club, but this is about like 4 friends at a retirement village, so like a little bit more like elderly people, which is what makes me really excited about this. And they go every week and they meet up to try and work on solving some cold cases, and someone ends up dying, so they are actually working on a live case. And then the last one is obviously Finlay Donovan is Killing It. It's about a woman who becomes a hit mom, as it says on the back. She basically becomes like a contract killer because she needs money and someone offers to pay her to kill their husband. So those are my TBR, and I have a ton of books that I would like to read this month, but I am not going to just be like, oh, I might read this, I might read this, I might read this, because that can get kind of annoying when I do that. At least to me it's a little bit annoying. So I decided to do a spinner wheel to decide some prompts, and I've never done one before, but this was heavily inspired by Cat Chats. I know this has been done before, but Kat does this every month, and I love those videos so much. They're some of my favorite TBRs to watch, and so I definitely am taking a lot of inspiration from her. So I think I'm going to do 5 or 6 prompts. So I have my computer right here with a spinner wheel that I made with prompts. Obviously I made the prompts, so I should have books for all of these. Okay, so y'all can see my TBR wheel, and I'm going to do the first spin. Oh wow, it really did freeze. So the first prompt is a backlist book, and to me that's any book that is published before the prior year, or at least like a year ago. So it'll probably be like anything in 2021, but I try and stay a little bit more backlist and go to like 2020 or 2019. So with this, I'm going to go with a book that I started, I believe at the beginning of this month, or maybe at the end of October, and that is Layla by Colleen Hoover. The audiobook I just didn't really like, so I want to physically read this. So I definitely need to restart it because I was not paying attention. But me and Colleen don't agree. Some things about her have come out that I don't like, but Verity is literally like my lifeline. It keeps me breathing, it keeps me going, and this is the only other book that she really has individually that is in the same kind of like thriller romance range. But I know this one's like a little paranormal or speculative, so I don't know if I'm gonna like it a ton, but I still want to try it out for sure. But now we are going to do the second spin, and I just put the computer here because it's easier. So I have a book checked out from the library, and when I say this, it's mostly books that I have checked out on Libby, because I don't really use the physical library that much because returning the books just is a hassle for me. So let me open up my Libby and see what I have going on. The one that I really want to go with is The Wall of Winnipeg and Me by Mariana Zapata, because I have never read a Mariana Zapata. I know this is a football romance. In November, I feel like football is a huge thing. I mean, in the fall, it just is, but November, you know, Thanksgiving Day, football, but it is 16 hours. So I'm going to say this one for now. And also have Blood Sugar, which I really want to read because it's like Haley's favorite book of the year. It's like a literary book about a serial killer, a woman serial killer, but I'm going to say The Wall of Winnipeg and Me. And to preface all this, I'm not going to punish myself if I don't finish these books. I've never done anything like spinner wheel-esque. I've only ever done like, I think probably a TBR jar or like bookopalathon, but that was like a readathon. So it keeps me more motivated because it's a readathon and it's like feels like community so I don't know how I'm gonna do at this, but we'll see. So if y'all really like the spinner wheel, let me know and maybe I can incorporate it more, but I'm not gonna punish myself yet. Okay, maybe we'll start a little TBR game in the new year, and this is just like a little test run, but for now I'm gonna say The Wall of Winnipeg and Me. So I'm moving on to the third spin, and I got a book with a one-word title. For this, I'm going to go with Corrupt by Penelope Douglas, and this is one that I wanted to read in October, but I didn't get to, and I started this one all the way back last summer, and I was eating it up. I think I just started college for the first time, so I didn't end up finishing it, but I was really loving it, and this is a darker romance, so I think it's better to read for this time of year anyways. But we follow our main character, and she is still in high school, I think, like a senior, and she kind of has like a romance with her boyfriend's older brother because he's part of like this group that's super infamous, and they're like these rich four men who are like best friends, and they were like infamous in high school, and this town knows them really well. Each book in the series follows their romances, I believe, and I just really want to read the series because everybody loves it, and I really like Penelope Douglas, so I'm gonna do Corrupt for that. So I have a lot of romance with the 3 books that I've chosen so far from the spinner wheel. So for the next couple ones, I'm going to try and do more like either fantasy or like thrillers and horror. So moving on to the 4th spin. Okay, we have a reread, and I had a specific book in mind when I added this to my TBR, and that is Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. This is another chunky one, but I feel like the fall time is about chunky books. Is that just me?
I feel like it's a chunky time.
That sounds terrible.
But like chunky sweaters, chunky soup, chunky books. The math is mathing to me. If it's not mathing to you, you can keep that to yourself, okay?
But Ninth House, I really want to read this fall because it's the dark academia of it all, to be honest. This season, perfect. And this year, it really has not gotten cold in North Carolina. Like, I believe November 1st, it was literally like 70, 80 degrees. Like, it was like t-shirt weather. And so I feel like November is getting a little bit cooler, a little bit colder. And this is like going to be like the real academic time for me. I'm going to be studying on my computer. So I feel like this will help me, you know, really make my life seem aesthetic and romanticize my life to make me not hate everything about college during this trying time that's going to be November. So I really want to read this. Plus, the sequel for this, Hellbent, comes out in January. So I really wanted to reread this in the last couple months of the year. And so this is going to be the 5th spin, and I might do a 6th one, but we'll see. So obviously I got Cozy Mystery, and I'm definitely going to do a 6th, maybe even a 7th spin because I already have Cozy Mysteries on my TBR, so I'm probably going to do Brownies and Broomsticks for this prompt. So I'm not adding any more books to my TBR because I don't really have any other Cozy Mysteries that I really want to read. But this will definitely help motivate me to do that reading vlog that I want to do. And so here's the 6th spin. So we have a book by a BIPOC author, and for that I'm going to go with Secrets and Truths by Whitney Hill. This is a book that was sent to me by Vina from Miss WOC Reader, and she's been wanting me, begging me to read this book, and there's just no audio for it, so it's been difficult for me to pick it up. But this is a fantasy romance, or like a paranormal romance, about a half-elven bounty hunter who lives in Raleigh, the city that I actually live in, and she's mixed like me, and I believe it's between her and a vampire. So I'm really excited to read this one. She said that it's definitely more fantasy romance than it is just fantasy, so I'm really excited for this one. I'm sorry, Vina, that I haven't gotten to it sooner, but I'm going to try. I think I put this on my TBR for like a couple months, and I haven't gotten to it, but this month is the month. I can feel it in my soul. In this time of year, I do love like a little bit of fantasy, not like too fantasy, but like urban fantasy, or like Ninth House type fantasy, Layla type paranormal, like urban romance fantasy. I just love it. And so for the 7th spin, which is probably going to be the last spin, and we got, okay, we already got Cozy Mystery, so I'm not doing a repeated prompt. Plus, I have 3 other Cozy Mysteries on my TBR. So yeah, this is the real 7th spin. And we have a thriller. So for this one, I think I am going to go with Blood Sugar, which I talked about earlier. I have it checked out from the library because Haley said that she loved this book. I'm looking at the Goodreads right now, but it's like a thriller kind of suspense about a woman who's a serial killer. She said that it's more like character based, so I'm pretty excited for it. And I'm sorry, I kind of want to do an 8th one. Like, this is addicting. And as I said, I'm not going to punish myself, but some of these books on here are a little bit chunkier, but the Cozy Mysteries I should be getting through pretty quickly. But I think I'm going to do one more spin. We'll see. Let's just do it. So this is the 8th and final spin. We already did a BIPOC author, so we're gonna spin for the actual 8th time. We already had backlist books, so we're gonna spin for the actual 8th time again. We already had reread, so we're gonna spin for the actual 8th time again. Maybe this is telling me that I shouldn't do an 8th spin. I'm sorry, but I don't really want to do a Billy Romance. My Billy Romance was going to be Corrupt, so I'm just going to do a respin because this is my game and my rules. I get 1 respin a month, so this is my respin. So I'm not doing that. Okay, so we have seasonal read. So this is a book that I feel is like tis the season, you know, very much giving autumn, very much giving fall. And for this one, I'm just going to go with a horror because I just love horror this time of year, and I have no horror on this TBR yet, so I definitely want to add one. And I'm just going to go with They Were Here Before Us by Eric LaRocca. This is his most recently published work. It's a novella told in pieces. Super short. It's only like 100 pages, and I just eat his work up. So I have this, and then also I do want to get to the Things About War Since We Last Spoke. Obviously I read this last year and I literally loved it, but he did like a republish of it with two or three other stories towards the end after the first story, so I would like to reread this and read the other two as well, but I'm just gonna say this one's going to count for that 8th prompt. So these are all the books that are on my TBR for the month, also including The Well of Winnipeg and Me, which is another big one that I forgot to mention. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 official books on my TBR, which I think is pretty good, and then my 2 book club picks, but I've already basically finished one of them, and I've read another book that's not on this TBR for November already. So hopefully I can get through these. I'm really excited for these, and then as I said, I have a couple additional things I would like to work on / hopefully read this month. But I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Let me know if you guys enjoyed the spinner wheel. If you did, I will definitely try and include it more, and I don't want to copy Kat, but I know Kat doesn't care really, so maybe I will do more of like a spinner wheel thing. If you made it to the end of this video, leave like the little like sleuth spyglass emoji, you know what I'm talking about? Like it's just like the little like magnifying glass thing. Leave that down below for my cozy mystery reading vlog, and I will see y'all in my next one. Bye everybody.
Trying to look like you're winning. I'm ready.